Hi, Dave from Buzzy here. Guess what? We've just added the option to wrap content in an auto layout when you publish to Buzzy. So here's a screen I've set up. This is a really common use case. It's a menu of items laid out as cards in a grid. In Figma, you might have done this, the diligent way, and you've set up a auto layout as a wrapper, and then a row is an auto layout, and then each card. Inside that, you can control its positioning with your auto layout, and that's all great. But when you go to resize this screen, nothing wraps. And so every screen size that you have to prototype, you're manually editing these menus. In Buzzy, we've just added the option to let you apply wrapping to an auto layout though. So let's have a look at this. I've already set this file up as a Buzzy app, and I've hit publish. So this is without wrapping. So here it is. There's our screen. It's got 4 rows of 4 cards each, but they don't wrap. It's static, nothing's flowing. So let's go about fixing that. Now in Figma here, when you define an item as a layout in Buzzy with the plugin, which is open here, so there's a grid row. If we make this a component of type layout, amongst other options, we now have this little switch down here that says enable flex wrapping. Now note that this will only apply to things you've defined, frames in Figma that you've defined as auto layouts. There's no point trying to wrap something that's a static vector or something like that. It'll only work on an auto layout. So if we turn this on, this auto layout will now wrap. These other ones won't. But if we go to update our app, right, and we'll go back to the preview. There it is. It's refreshed itself automatically. Now I've set that auto layout to center, but you'll notice the top row will now wrap as I resize my screen. There it goes. Sorry, the image is just refreshing. So the top row is wrapping. The ones below it I haven't defined yet or set them to wrap. But there you go. Possibilities are endless. Now obviously as you apply different settings here, if you choose to left align this and so on, this stuff will apply in the wrap as well. Now the other way that this is just a static file obviously. If you want to make this useful, the obvious use case is obviously as a menu of repeating items. So let's go about setting that up. I'll just reset that. So if we wanted to make this a repeating menu, the way you'd set that up in Buzzy, we'll wrap. I've already defined this as an app earlier, so there's data sitting behind this already, but I've cleared all the markup, so we can redefine that here. So here's the wrapper. We'll make this our component. It's a view. It's going to be a results view of the micro app name is going to be people. The layout mode is the results layout. The component name we'll call it people menu. There we go. Page size will make it 24. Doesn't really matter. Right, so that's our outer menu. Then inside that, we've got our grid row, which we've already set to wrap. And then inside that, we've got this card, which we can make our repeating element. When we do this, so this is the item that's going to repeat for each result. We will ignore the other ones because these are just static mock-ups. We don't need them. They're just in Figma to prototype basically. For production, we only need one of these to repeat. Inside that, this can be the name field. It's plain text, use summary mode. Micro app name is people. I've already defined this at the back end, so there's data sitting there. The field name is name. That's it. Now these other rows, because they're inside our menu view, so these rows we can ignore as well because we don't want to render them either. They're just there as part of the mock-up. So there we go, we've ignored these three, define this one. Now if we go to publish our app, now notice I haven't set dynamic images or anything, I'm just setting the name just as a quick example. So now if we go back to our app, let it refresh, waiting. We now have that first card there is repeating, and at the back end, here's the names I've set up earlier, they're just a bit of lorem ipsum text. But they are all now rendering as a wrapping, responsive card menu. There you go. Figma finally has wrapping inside an auto layout. Well, not technically Figma, but Buzzy when you publish. Thanks for watching.